there, fellow travelers. Mark here with Wolters World, and today we're going to talk about your passport, and specifically the validity of your passport. Look, if you're going to travel, what you need to realize is your passport probably needs to be valid at least 6 months after you leave. This is one of the biggest mistakes people make when they travel, is they forget to check, when does my passport expire? Now, mine, I'm flying out of Boston tomorrow, and mine I have another 6 years, so I'm okay. But if you get less than 6 months, you're probably going to have some problems, okay? If you're coming from the US, we have a huge list of countries that they require 6 months of valid visa before you get there. You know, if you're going to Poland, Portugal, or Papua New Guinea, you're going to have a passport that's valid for at least 6 months after you get there. Why do countries have a 6-month rule? Well, not every country has a 6-month rule. It really depends on where you're going and where you're coming from. You know, technically speaking, in the European Union, as long as you have a valid ID or a valid passport or national ID, you can travel within the European Union anywhere you want to go before it expires. But the thing is, that's for EU citizens going to other EU countries. And the thing is sometimes there are issues. EasyJet had an issue a while ago with that with one of their passengers. And the thing is, it's up to you to know how long your passport should be valid. That's why they say the airport sends you that link and says, make sure your travel documents are in order. That right there makes it your fault if your travel documents aren't okay. So if your expiry date is only 5 months or 5 weeks away, they can say, no, you cannot fly. Because if you get to a country that requires a 6-month amount of time left on your passport and you don't have that, they can send you right back. I mean, literally, you fly your 8 hours to Paris, they say, nope, sorry, and then you fly the 8 hours back. Oh, not a really cool thing. So what I recommend is when you buy your plane ticket, make sure you go find that passport, because it might have been a few years since you got one of these, and see how long your validity is. And if you see that, oh, I'm going to be flying at like 6 months or less, it's time to go get that new passport. So that gives you time to go to, you know, well, I went to the post office where they do their passports for me, or our passport office, or, you know, however you can get it done, because there's certain ways you can get it, and sometimes it's faster or slower. If you do the usual rate, it might take a few weeks or a month or so. You can do an expedited one that only takes a couple weeks or a few weeks, you know, or you can get one that'll get you the same day. That's an emergency one like that. And there's different ways you can go about doing that, but the thing is, you don't want to get in that situation. One of our good fans, Darian, he was getting ready to go to Germany. He was ready to have his spaghetti ice and beer. I mean, he was really happy about it. He goes to check in, and they say, oh, your passport's not valid long enough. So he had to drive as fast as he could down to Miami, waited at the passport office in Miami for 7 hours, and then drove back to Orlando to fly out. And they were telling him, look, to move your flight one day is going to cost $3,000. Because remember, it's your fault that your passport wasn't checked. And they said, oh, you can go next week for like 300 more. He got back there in time. The airline was very nice. They actually found him another route there, so he flew through Spain. Poor guy, girl next to him threw up. I mean, he had a rough day. But that's because passport wasn't valid, and they will not let you go. So do make sure you have your passport valid for at least 6 months, okay? Now, again, these numbers can be different for different countries, but that's up to you to figure out which one it is. I'll put the link for U.S. travelers below to go to the Homeland Security site, which says what countries are in the 6-month club, as they like to call it, and you'll look and say, well, every country I pretty much want to go to is a 6-month one. Yes, it is, okay? So you also might worry, Mark, what happens if I go there and I overstay my passport? Will I get in trouble? Well, yes, if you're staying in a country and your passport expires, you are technically illegally there, so you can get in trouble for that. So if you see your passport's getting close, go and get a new one while you're there. When I was living in Portugal, my passport was set to expire, so I went to the U.S. Embassy, I turned in my passport and the other documentation that they required. A week later, I had a brand spanking new passport, okay? So you can do those things when you are abroad, because it does happen if you lose your passport when you're traveling or it gets stolen or things like that. Head to your nearest embassy or consulate and have them start the process of getting you one, because they can do this a lot better than anybody else, okay? So you may ask yourself, so why do they call it a 10-year passport when it's really only valid for 9.5 months? Look, that 6-week window, there's different reasons why they have that. I mean, who knows the real reasons are, but some of the ones I can think of is one, some countries let you stay for 6 months, so they want to make sure that they allow you in the country for as long as your passport is. So you can't say, well, you let me in for 6 months, even though my passport was too short. That could be one thing. Some places let you in for 90 days, but give you an extension for another 90 days. There's 6 months. Or maybe they have it because, you might get sick or an injury happens. It's just to mitigate all these issues where people might overstay their passports. So they do those things. Another thing is if you're looking at your visas, it's the same thing there. If you don't have a visa to get into a country required, they'll send you right back. So make sure you are applying for the visas before you go and have that all in order, because you don't want to have that horrible thing where, wait, I thought I could come into the country. They say, no, your visa isn't valid. You're out. So I hope this helps you know a little bit and helps you to go check your passport right now to check how many years are left or months are left. And if you do have a certain number of years and months, go put in the comments section below so we can see where people are, so we can make sure. Because it's happened to us where we've traveled right near the end. I know with Caleb, we had it was like 6 months and 6 days. We were going down to Costa Rica and it was like, okay, this is getting really close. Like, I don't know, it's 6 months from when he gets here. I'm like, cool. So we were all right with that one. But it does happen because you just forget. So anyway, I hope you have a great time traveling. Your passport isn't invalid, and I hope it gets nice and full, and so you can see lots of the world. Anyway, I'll say bye from Connecticut, and maybe I'll see you at the airport. Bye. Hey, that video's over, but there's more to come. Click over here for a video that you might actually like because it's related to the video that you just watched. Or click over here to see our newest travel video, which is obviously something really amazing and cool. You should totally watch that too. So if you're not sure which one to watch, just watch them both somehow. I don't know how, but click on those. But if you like travel videos, you can also click the subscribe button, that circle Wolters World thing. You can click on that. Yeah, that'll help you out too. So, we're in Rome. It's really cool. You should check it out.